Today, we bring back a popular guest on the show, and he's going to talk about a wide variety of topics such as Prime Day strategies, AMC audience, listing optimization, keyword research, and more. How cool is that? Pretty cool, I think. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Serious Sellers Podcast by Helium 10. I'm your host, Bradley Sutton, and this is the show that's completely BS-free, unscripted, and unrehearsed, organic conversation about serious strategies for serious sellers of any level in the e-commerce world. And we've got somebody who's half serious, but then also half fun and games with his Amazon listings and everything else in life. We've got Ben back on the show. How's it going, Ben?
Good. Thanks for having me.
So that reference there was, if you guys saw his earlier episodes, he has talked about some of his old listing, strategies, was like making funny listings that are like all parody and puns and stuff like that, and having great success with it. So if you guys want to get Ben's backstory and some of those older strategies, go to h10.me/379, and then the other one would be h10.me/529, and he's talked about things that come from the best hiring practices to listing optimization to cool hacks. I want to talk, to see what's going on with that nowadays, about being your own Amazon transportation company, taking your own. I mean, he's come up with some of the most unique things that we've talked about in this podcast. So it's like every year I look forward to bringing him on the show to see what new thing he's going to be talking about. But first of all, you're there in Charlotte, so that's why I'm wearing my Buzz City Charlotte Hornets
and I appreciate
hat
it
here. Are you a LaMelo Ball fan yourself?
He's super fun to watch. Just needs to get injured less.
Yes. He has definitely a unique shooting style. It's kind of amazing that he can get so much range on
Right?
that. But we're not here to talk about basketball. Like, since the last time we talked, you're now working for one of the top advertising agencies in the world. How did that come to fruition?
So I met George probably with Clear Ads 8 years ago, I think, at the first $1 billion seller summit, and we've been friends.
That was where I met him for the first time too. Yeah,
exactly. That was the first real event that I went to. But so we've been friends for a while and continue to kind of stay in touch and talk and communicate outside of the events. And I was looking at exiting the current company that I had built with my friends. I just needed to focus on different things. We had different priorities, so it's time to move on. We talked about this, I think, a little bit last time. And George was like, hey, we're trying to move into the full service sphere where we're doing listing optimization, images, managing inventory, whatever people need outside of the advertising side. And we're looking to build that team out. Can you help us with that? So I came in as a strategic advisor with Claire as to help with training the team on that, helping with building in the systems, building in the automations, and getting them moved forward from just an advertising agency to somebody who can literally do everything in the Amazon space.
I didn't even realize that they were kind of like an all-in-one kind of thing. Now that's pretty cool. So then, have you completely exited your old Amazon businesses? You still involved with them? You still running any that are your own, or are you just working on other people's accounts?
So I've exited those. I'm working. I've partnered up with a friend of mine who had a business that was just him by himself, that he'd scaled up to doing like 1.5 million, and he didn't know how to scale past that, wanted to figure out how to launch new products. So I came on as a partner with that company. So I've been helping to build and scale that company on the side. And then I'm in the middle of launching a product with Matt Altman, who I think you've had on here a few times before as well.
Okay, cool. Now, real quick, just because of the timing of this episode, we can actually talk a little bit about Prime Day, depending on when this airs. Might be like day 1 of Prime Day for some people, or day 2 or something like that. Now, I just want to get your general thoughts, first of all, on 2 things. Number 1, the timing of it being closer to the 4th of July. Like, do you think that matters, or it's going to have any effect? And number 2, it's twice as long now. Yeah. So those are the 2 big changes this year. What are your thoughts on if that's going to change anything?
So I think if anything, there should be more traffic coming out of the 4th of July because people wouldn't have been searching. Like usually after a holiday, you'll see that little bit of a spike as people get back to buying the things that they needed that they took a break from doing while they were traveling or spending time with family or not focused on it. So honestly, I think the traffic level should be even higher than what you would expect, at least on the first day or two of Prime Day, which I think could be interesting just because the slow sales of the holiday combining with the usually slower 3-4 days before Prime Day that you typically see as people are waiting for those deals could lead to the first couple of days being very, very big as far as traffic. Then as far as 4 days, I think that's too long. I think it's taking away from what kind of made Prime Day special, which was the quick deals. You get them fast. People are running bigger discounts. And now because of it's clever for Amazon because people are going to have to be on Amazon more to see like, okay, during this 8 hours or this 12 hours, what deals are running? What am I missing? So they're going to have to keep looking and checking. But that means that some of your deals are going to be missed by people who would have otherwise bought it. And it also means that customers may think, oh, I'll wait on this. I'll buy it later. And then that deal passes and then they don't buy it at all. So I think that because of the way that it's set up and structured over 4 days and the way that deals and things are going to break out, it's going to probably end up hurting how the value of the deals and how efficient they are.
Yeah. I think that's going to be an impact as well. Now, what are some mistakes that you see either your clients or you see out there on social media of some people with this year's Prime Day that they're making that you're like correcting right away? Like, what? You're planning to do this? No, that's not good. You got to go this route. You were talking a little bit offline about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think people are just not looking at it strategically. They just hear Prime Day and think I have to run a deal. And they think they have to do it across everything. But if there's not a strategy for what you're doing, if you don't have reason behind whatever deal you're running, like I think that I need to rank up on these, like this will help me rank up on these terms because my competitors won't be running a deal. So I'll be able to pass them and get into this spot. And that's great. But if you can't stick in that spot, then how are you actually going to make money from it? And this is something I think I've talked to you about before, but the idea of deserved ranking, where if there's a product that's legitimately better than mine, is a better offer, and they're in the top spot, how much money do I want to pay to get into that top spot to then fall back?
Exactly.
And if you're doing that with deals, it's the same structure. Like, let's say that you're currently making $10 a unit in profit on a product, and you run a $5 discount on that product. So let's say it's a $20 product, you make $10 or $25. I don't know how math works. $25 product that you're making $10 on. You run a 20% off discount on that. That's $5. You're now making, say, $5 on that. You have to sell literally double the units in order to justify it from a value perspective. And if that's not going to help you coming out of Prime Day with a long-term ranking boost, then what's the point of doing that?
Sure.
Like just running a deal to run a deal, if it doesn't help you in the long run, it should. What I focus everything on profitability, both short and long term. But I think people can be very short sighted in thinking I can make get so many sales during Prime Day. Like if I usually sell 50 a day, I can sell 200 a day, and that's fantastic. But if you sell 200 a day, and then that leads to you not having enough inventory to sell at full price later on, or you not selling 200 and not making your money back on it. There's just a lot of things that can go into play from a strategic perspective where you're not going to be successful or not as successful as you can be. Like you can put up huge numbers on Prime Day, but if you put up huge numbers on Prime Day and then July 20th through 30th, you're terrible, is it really worth it? And so figuring out the math between the short-term and long-term benefit of when the product sells.
You mentioned deals. I think this is the first year that all the new kind of price structures and deal structures are in place, whether it's like the difference in now coupons instead of whatever it was, it's like per redemption, this and that, and percentages, and then the deals of the day, Prime Day deals, and price discounts. You got to have it all on one, and you got to be minimum 20% the median price or whatever, the lowest price. Like there's all these new things this year.
Mm-hmm.
Has that affected how you approach this year's Prime Day as far as what you're suggesting to people they should do as far as the deals? Are you steering them towards price discounts, towards coupons, towards Prime Day deals, none of the above, just doing a sale price? Like what are you doing there?
So, I mean, if you can get the deal of the day, it's always going to be the best for traffic. So if your goal is to get, like, if you're a lifetime value seller where you have a repeat commodity that someone's going to buy over and over and over and over again, that's where I think Prime Day can be really useful. And that's where I do push deals on those type of products, where if you can get somebody in, and sure, it's cheap for the first one, but you know that the average buyer is going to come back 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, then it justifies the discount, for one thing, with Prime Day. As far as deals go, with non-commodities, what I've been kind of talking to people about doing are 3 different things. One, running frequently bought together deals. So deals to try and get frequently bought together tags, because you have extra traffic, people that are going to be buying things. So if you're launching a product, combining that with a existing product that already is selling well and already has traffic. 2, running the Prime exclusive price discounts, just because that's typically, with Prime Day, of the more normal deals, has been the most successful. And then, the third, if you can get a deal of the day, and you have the inventory and you have the margin to sustain it, that is the single best selling thing that I've seen over the last few years on Prime Day. Outside of that, I think one of the things that I've been testing out, or will be testing out, is I have a lot of deals that I've been talking to people about running on the 4th day. Because my theory, and this obviously could be very wrong and people will get mad at me, but my current theory is that there's going to be a lot of traffic and a lot of deals that people are pushing on the first couple of days. And I think it's the same thing as if you look at ad spend. During that first 12 hours, there's going to be a ton of advertising spend. And a lot of people aren't going to have updated their budgets to where they can sustain that. And so I think there's going to be a lot of cheap bids in certain categories that you can get from 5 p.m. to midnight each day, because people are going to be so focused on that front. The advertising spend is going to be so front loaded. But I think it's going to be the same thing with deals, where that's going to be very front loaded as well, because people are going to want to hit when there's the most traffic. But for me, if there are only deals running, if deals are not running for the full 4 days for people, and if I can run mine on the last day, the people who went in and they looked at it and they said, I want to buy this, but what other deals might come through? Because Prime is running so long, there are, you don't know what's still to come. So is there going
it's kind of like you being the only one at the end of a day, like 11 p.m., 10 p.m., who still has budget in your advertising just on a normal day, right? And then all of a sudden you're getting better bang for the buck because everybody's out of budget. And then you're all of a sudden the only deal in town.
Right.
So it's kind of a similar concept. I like
exactly. That. Yeah. And I do think that you're also going to get the customer who's like, I'm going to wait and see what deals come through. And so if they don't buy it on the first day, they don't buy it on the second day, they don't buy it on the third day, by the 4th day, they're going to want to buy while the deal is happening. So if your product is something that people are regularly buying, and there's a deal on it on the 4th day and there's no other deals, you're going to get sales. Versus on the first couple of days, people may want to see what's coming next. So I could see a lot of the add to cart and cart abandonment from the first couple of days, versus I think the 4th day is going to be the best day for conversion.
What about a post Prime Day? Do you preach any techniques as far as trying to maintain momentum? You playing with pricing at all, playing with your advertising budgets, etc., or just going back to 100% back to as if it was last month?
Oh no, definitely playing with those. One, if you're using DSP, there's so much traffic from Prime Day that you can be retargeting. That's very, very helpful. And with the AMC audiences and things that you can build out now, you can get some really, really useful information, some really actionable traffic, I think, coming out of it. The other thing that I'm going to be doing is, for the first week after it, I'm going to be running coupons on a number of products for the exact reason that we were just talking about, where I think there are going to be people who miss things on Prime Day, or they added them to their cart and then they forgot about it. And then they go back and like, oh, the deal's over. Okay, well, there's still a coupon. I'll just buy it anyway. So I want to clean up those sales that are still pending that didn't happen. So between running potentially a higher brand tailored promotion discount for cart abandoners and then running those coupons, I'm trying to clean up the sales that I guess I'll say are pending.
Thinking about selling on TikTok Shop? Or maybe you are already in it and you're ready to scale. Unlock all of Helium 10's brand new TikTok Shop tools with our Diamond Plan. Everything from bulk Amazon to TikTok listing conversions to instant Amazon MCF fulfillment. Best of all, you use the code TT10 to get 10% off Diamond for 6 months, even if you've used a coupon before. So go ahead and upgrade and let Helium 10 do all the heavy lifting for you so you can focus on what really matters. For more info on our new TikTok Shop offerings, visit h10.me/TikTok. I'll see you there.
All right. You mentioned AMC. I think that's something that in the last year or so has really come on, even for just regular sellers who might not have had access, to audiences and things like that. For the average Joe and Sally out there, 6-7 figure sellers who might not have had exposure to this because they weren't, maybe they weren't doing DSP or they weren't, they didn't have an agency working for them. Some of the stuff that's just available for anybody in Seller Central advertising console now, as far as AMC and audiences go, what is like your top 2 things that is going to bring people instant value that they should be looking into that they probably didn't even know was there if they haven't heard about this?
Converting audiences to category ads is one thing. So like they're going to show you the audiences that are buying, and you can move that into a category targeting ad, and the category, like getting into your category and finding, like, because you can niche that down so much. Like in a lot of the major categories where it's like, let's say you're in some kind of supplement, if you aren't narrowing that down, you're going to waste a bunch of money. AMC lets you figure out how to narrow that down profitably and where you're not missing out on things. The other piece that I would say is not necessarily AMC relevant, but I think is still relevant to advertising is just business pricing, or not business pricing, business advertising and the placement bidding, because the number of people that whose accounts I've looked at that are selling to businesses and don't realize it, or are selling to business buyers and aren't pushing advertising on that, is crazy, because the results from B2B advertising have been unbelievable for the majority of the clients that we push them on. We have one client who their typical ACoS for a regular ad was around 36%. On B2B, it was 7%. Because they're getting so many multiple purchasers, but also, or multiple units in one purchase, but also just because they're on the Amazon business pages, there's just not the same amount of people advertising. And so you can rank up in ads for cheaper than you could other places.
Now, there's so much talk about, the sky is falling for keyword research or blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, no, the same stuff that I've done for years is still working. Now, every time algorithms shift and there's new things, of course you have to take into consideration. Like 3 years ago, I couldn't, there was no such thing as Rufus.
Yeah.
Now, Rufus is not a huge thing. Like barely anybody uses it because it sucks, from the consumer side, but it's going to get more popular. And so I'm getting ahead of it. And I look at my listings and I'm like, all right, this question that's autocomplete here is not even answered to my listing. I better go answer it to make sure Rufus, so of course there's going to be new stuff that we do here or there. But what about you? Like, what is different in 2025 for you and all the clients you advise as far as the general structure of listings, whether we're talking about, are you doing your keywords differently? Are you doing, are you doing your titles differently? Your image strategy? Has anything, or are there any major shifts that you've made in this day and age compared to what you've been doing the last couple of years?
Yes and no. So I think that the way that I've always done listings is a little, and we've talked about this, but is a little bit different, where a lot of the listing copy that I put was focused on the emotions of the buyer and why they're why they're purchasing the product, which gets into the semantic SEO that people are talking about now. That's the big buzzword.
Yep. That's one of the interesting things. Like,
yeah,
all that stuff is not new. Like, it's not like, all you had to do is keyword stuff your listings in 2020. No, you've never only had to keyword stuff your listings. You always should be making a emotional connection, but it's just maybe even more important nowadays, I guess.
Exactly. And I think that's where the, like, getting more hooks into it and into the listings. So, like, instead of just saying, now I have to find a product in my house, that a bowl will hold soup, saying that it's double pleated to handle hot soup without breaking, or things like that, that, like, it's looking for those differentiators even more now than you were before, where you have to have when people are asking questions, and this is going into Rufus a little bit and into semantic a little bit, but when they're asking questions like, what is the best this? What is the best for this? Like, if you're answering those questions in a way, like, instead of saying, I'm the best for this, you're saying, this is the solution for this, so I'm the best because I have this. And you're not, so it's just making sure that you have the best parts about your product. And one of the things that we're doing a lot more now is focusing in on who we're actually competing against when we're coming up with those features. So, like, if I am selling a bowl, my listing is going to be talking about why my bowl is better than other bowls. It's not going to be talking about why a bowl is better than a plate for holding food. And I think a lot of people, at least back in the day, because it was very easy to stuff keywords into, like, this bowl is great for holding X, Y, like this and this and this, and it's good for dinner and all these other things. It's like, okay, yes,
no crap, Sherlock. You know,
but why is your bowl better than the other bowl? Like, why should someone buy my bowl over yours? I think I've used this example before, but we sold straws a lot back in the day before we figured out that they were probably bad for the environment. We shouldn't do that. But we were at one point the ranked number 1 on plastic straws. And we got there by putting BPA free in front of our listing. And this is creating a differentiation that didn't really exist. But other people weren't marketing it, that theirs were BPA free. Literally every single straw in the world is BPA free. Those plastic. But people would go in, they'd see it and say, oh, this is BPA free and that isn't. I should buy this one. And we let off our title, like the opening 10 characters or 8 characters, whatever, were BPA free. And so that's what people see when they're going through and they're looking at in search. So instead of just this wall of 100 pack plastic straws, 100 pack plastic straws, 100 pack plastic straws, they see BPA free.
Ooh, this is the one that's friendly to the environment, even though all of them are.
Right. Why would I not buy this? Like, if all of them are the same price, and this one is this and the others aren't, why wouldn't I buy this?
And it has nothing to do with keywords, because it's not like people are that keyword would probably not show up in Helium 10 or brand analytics or search group performance, because nobody's typing in BPA free and thinking they're going to get straws. But it's these trigger words that talk about what's important to people. That's what's going to help the conversion rate for sure.
Exactly. And it's not just conversion right now. Like, I think keywords are great and for getting people to find your product, but you have to convert twice. The way that I look, you have to convert on the click through, and you have to convert on the sale. And if you're so focused on keywords, and this is something that I think people are pivoting more and more away from keywords and getting to this, but keywords are obviously still incredibly relevant, because how else are they going to find you?
Exactly.
But it's taking it to the next level of kind of structure where it's, okay, I have my keywords in, I have my everything dialed in from using Magnet, Cerebro, the variety of tools. And now I have them on my search page. Why are they picking me over somebody else? And that's what I've been pushing with people a lot lately, is having that why in the first 55 characters, having a don't blackball me, Amazon, but having a fake tag hanging off of your product in the main image that has the big keyword that you want people to see, or has a feature that you want people to see and be aware of.
Yep.
Because their AI won't pick up the fact that it's not real if you do a proper Photoshop on it.
Yeah.
Like things like that are pushing the envelope a little bit, but really, really help with the conversion rate and the click-through rate, and aren't actually like your product could easily have a tag on it.
Sure.
Or putting like I know people who do fake boxes, like whatever you want to do, but something to differentiate your picture for just here's a wall of the same picture.
Yeah, we talked about both click-through rate and conversion rate. Now we have great data points that are available in Amazon and now Helium 10, like search query performance, right? Where you can see at the keyword level your click-through rate and conversion rate compared to competitors. But instead of just blindly saying, oh, my conversion rate is worse, I'm going to go ahead and lower my bids in advertising, you got to understand why, or I'm going to block, my conversion rate's not great. So let me just go ahead and stop advertising because I'm not going to gain organic rank. You better ask yourself why. If that's an important keyword, why are people clicking through to your competitors at a better rate than you? Why are they converting, No,
100% you have to be looking at the why behind it. And it also may be like, maybe you're not bidding enough to get to the people who are buying. Like if let's say you're bidding 30 cents and top of search is $1, and top of search is converting at 3-1 against the placement that you're at the bottom. If you test top of search, that may actually spending more on the ad may improve your cost per conversion, because you're in a better place than the people, like you're showing up in front of buyers instead of lookers.
Yeah, people don't realize when you get an impression in search query performance or in ad console, it's not obviously there's top of search, you can see that, but still it's like in search query performance, it's one impression, whether you're page 1 position 1 or page 1 position 23 or something. It's very well possible that 23 is not even seen. It still counts as an impression. It's not like Amazon can read the buyer's eyes and know that it saw it.
Right.
And so you might be looking like, oh my goodness, my conversion rate's terrible. Well, look, that's why in Helium 10, we've got the keyword tracker rank right next to it. So you can see, oh, this is the conversion rate at this rank. What's going to happen if I go up? So like some people, I think they don't go deep enough into the, there's so many amazing data points that Amazon is giving. Mm-hmm. They don't go deep enough into it. They just look at the kind of like outside of it and make decisions based on not enough information. Speaking of data points that Amazon has made available in the last few years, I know you guys, I believe, or at least you were, using PackView for a lot of your advertising software, and obviously PackView, same as Helium 10, and both tools have Dayparting. What is your Dayparting strategy? Like when you look at somebody who didn't have Dayparting, and you're like, are you looking at days of the week? Are you looking at times of day? Are you pausing campaigns? Are you decreasing bids by a certain percentage on the unprofitable? Are you increasing bids depending on what you see?
Yeah.
Well, how do you guys utilize Dayparting?
So it honestly depends on the client, which obviously I think everyone would say, but we look at it from a hour-to-hour perspective for each day. So we're looking to see how many sales are coming through each hour and what those cost. And if on Sunday at 6 p.m. sales are really good, but on Monday at 6 p.m. sales are really bad, then we would be using Dayparting to cut the bids on Monday, but leave them up on Sunday. So it's not just a strict day by day or hour by hour. It is combining the two together to look at where there's the most traction or the least traction. The other thing that we've been testing out is with some products that we're doing poorly late at night, like in the, I guess, what would it be, Eastern time from like 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Eastern. We've actually been bumping up some bids on those because we noticed that we are just by going in some cases manually looking, but adjusting around, we were able to see that we weren't getting top of search as much during those time periods. And so looking at where we're placing during those time periods has been a big push lately to try and figure out what impact that has and why we're dropping down. The other thing is when a lot of people are using Dayparting themselves, and you can figure out when your competitors are using it, which is one of the things we're looking at as far as like the average cost per click during those time periods to figure out, okay, so the competitors aren't pushing during these time periods. What if we push more to try and take advantage of when they are backing off? If we can push and the ones that are going to convert, we'll take all of those sales as opposed to having to compete for them and the others where, like, let's say on an average time, we're bidding $1.50 and they're bidding $1.50. We're competing for that spot and splitting it. But if they drop to $1
Sure.
and we go to $1.50, then any sale that comes through that time we get. Not any, but I mean, you know the concept.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's good to know. Like I just started getting into it myself. I just, haven't had the time to really look into the numbers, and I was just like kind of shocked when I actually looked into
it's crazy.
The variance with performance.
Yep.
Like some people, I think we just get in this mindset sometimes that, oh yeah, like this is my ACOS and this is all my campaigns are the same, and throughout the day it's like, there's different, just like there's different kinds of buyers at different spots of the page. There's different buyers at different times, and
Yep.
and what works for you might work something completely be the opposite for me. Like imagine if it's like a product that is something that's really based on like the time of day, like somebody who a professional is probably working. They're the ones who buy this product, maybe 8 to 5. They're not really shopping for it, but they're, heavy. They're the ones who are shopping at like 9 o'clock at night for this product when they get home from a long day at work. But then, you could have a complete opposite situation. So guys, check out whether you have PackView or Helium 10, it's no extra charge. It's just start using it. Look at that information about where your performance is at. Are you doing anything, you as in you personally, or Clear Ads, as far as TikTok Shop or other platforms, or are you guys mainly Amazon?
Mainly Amazon. I'll be honest, I am not done much with social media just because I don't like it personally. So I just actually last week started working with TikTok Shop. So the next time we talk, I'll have some things for you. But Clear Ads, like, we support people with suggestions, but we are not currently running it for anybody. We did for about a year for a couple clients, and then we moved away from it to focus on one thing versus trying to be the jack of all trades, master of none. So we wanted to stay focused on what we were very, very good at and prioritize that.
Do you suggest to people who are only selling in Amazon USA or only selling in Amazon Europe to diversify at least across Amazon? Like, hey, go to UK, go to Germany, etc.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. And any trends you're seeing there? Like there's a country that's really, coming up, or man, I've seen people that they got like more, profit margin from Germany compared to US, or just any general things you can talk about diversification of countries in the Amazon ecosystem?
So one, I see diversification as a route to work around tariffs. If you're going to be tariffed heavily in the US, but you can sell in the UK and Germany and EU, like moving to different marketplaces for those Chinese suppliers is a way to potentially combat that a little bit and can get you to larger order sizes, which means that your cost per unit should go down, which would help offset some of the tariffs. So that's one aspect of it. And I do think people should be on Walmart and TikTok and everything else. Just because I have avoided TikTok doesn't mean that other people should. But as far as specific marketplaces, I think that the German marketplace for products that have testing and qualifications required can be really, really good because it's so hard to get in. So if you've done your products correctly and you can pass that barrier of entry, then I think that that's a marketplace that's really, really open because it requires such high quality products in order to get in. So if you look at it, and there's going to be less competition because there's a higher barrier of entry. So if you can get in, I think that's really, really helpful. I also think that it's easier to launch in some of the other countries. So I have a friend who launched a product in, well, they've launched a lot of products, but launched a product in the UK that has 3,000 plus reviews now. And they're now bringing that into the US. And they're going to bring that product in with the backing of all these reviews that they otherwise wouldn't have unless they did something sketchy. And so I think using other marketplaces to launch and then getting some backing and some proof for customers is a way that you can potentially get into some more competitive markets in the US if they haven't been tapped into in the other marketplaces yet.
Yeah, so that's a good point. Like sure, now it might be kind of quiet on the tariff front, but we know it doesn't matter who the president is. These kind of things can change on, on the daily basis. So you can never be too complacent. But if all your eggs are not in the U.S. bucket, or if you're just selling in Germany and all of a sudden there's a strike in Germany, of transportation strike, well, there goes all of your income goes to zero because you're only in one marketplace. That's very good. Good points. Now, before we get to your 60-second tip of the week, how can people find you guys on the interwebs out there these days?
So clearasagency.com is the easiest way to do free audits for anybody who's looking for one for their account. If you want to reach me directly, you can email me at ben@clearads.co.
Awesome. All right. What's your 60-second strategy of the week you'd like to share with the audience?
Price test your products to figure out what price you should actually be at. In a lot of cases, if you raise your price, you can potentially sell more units because you get into a different bracket as far as what the customer is looking at. So if they're usually if there's a certain buyer who buys at $9 and then the next tier of buyers wants to buy at $17, but you're at $14, then you're not hitting either of those markets. So you're not in the right place for either of those to get sales. And so you're just going to be getting clicks from both of them. And one's going to be like, that's a little too expensive. And the other's going to be like, that's too cheap. I don't trust it. So looking at what price point you need to be at to establish trust and to be in the market where you should be. We have a case study on our website from a client that I did price testing where I lowered some products and raised the raised the price on other products.
Yeah.
They do about $650,000 a month in revenue, and from just that 1 month of price testing, they made $18,000 more in actual profit.
Wow.
From 1 month of price testing, and that maintained throughout the rest of it. So if you're not looking at where you should be, there are another one that I'll say with pricing is, if you're priced between $9.99 and $11.99, you should probably be priced at $9.99. To get into the what used to be small and light, but whatever the FBA.
I forgot what it's called.
I forget what it's called now. But you save, I think, 74 cents a unit in fees. So you're offering your customer a significant discount without losing much from a profitability perspective. So those are two things with pricing. And the last thing I'll say in regards to pricing is always have a reason for why you're doing it. It's the same thing as if you're running a Amazon Prime Day deal. Like, if you're dropping the price, it should be because you think you're going to make more money in the long run because of you dropping the price. If you're raising the price, it should be because you think you're going to make more money. Whether that's through ranking, whether that's through increasing the profitability on the product, whether that's through visibility because you're going to show up in other places now, or you're trying to use that to launch something else, or whatever that case may be. Make sure that you have a rationale behind what you're doing.
Super important. Like I do this one product that I manage for a public case study, but it's a real, somebody's real product. It's this hemp pain cream, and it went out of stock for a couple of months. But during that time, I had them redo their creatives. Like, they hadn't done that in like 3, 4, 5 years, and crazy conversion rate difference when it came back in stock. But then at another time, I also raise the price like $2. I think at first it was on accident. At first I was just trying to raise it, but then I did one of those things where I'm like, all right, I'm going to raise it up, before, I don't know what it was, like a Black Friday or Prime Day or something. So I could do a, bigger discount off. And then I forgot to turn it back. And then the sales drastically increased after raising the price $2, and so like, you never know, but testing and that's just the general thing. What all the topics we talked about, guys, today is not set and forget it. Your advertising strategy is going to change. Your keyword research strategy, little bits of it, it's going to change. Your listings, should not be stale year after year. Your images, your creatives, like you got to be flexible because things, buyer behavior changes, and so test things, figure out what works, what doesn't work, and go from there. I think you'd be surprised at how the audience might be surprised about how many people don't do these things. So the fact that you're doing it already puts you at a advantage. Well, Ben, when's the next time we get to see you? You're going to go to Accelerate, or where are you going to be?
Yeah, I'll be out at Accelerate in September.
Awesome. Well, I'll be seeing you at Amazon Accelerate. And do you guys have a booth there this year?
No, I'll just be going as a seller.
Okay, we'll just look for somebody with a team with Clear Ad shirts, and they'll be able to help you guys out with now, not just advertising, but all in one. So thanks, Ben, and you got to still teach me some pickleball and or tennis. Tennis, I'm scared of you a little bit. I think I might be only able to handle pickleball. He's a former professional tennis player.
Instructor. I played in college. I never played professionally.
Yeah, same thing.
I don't want
we
to.
can stretch. We can stretch the truth. We can stretch it a little bit here, but yeah, I'm at that age where I'm like, all right, I think I might need to start considering pickleball because basketball is too hard on my knees right now. But anyways, we'll get that going soon too.
Sounds good. Yeah, we definitely need to.